Is Kenya choosing China over the US? Why is Kenya, a major non-NATO ally of the US, now deepening ties with China, Washington's chief global rival? In less than a year, Nairobi has gone from standing shoulder to shoulder with Washington to signing billion-dollar deals in Beijing. So what's driving the shift? And is the US losing its grip in East Africa? I'm Jonas Anbiko, and this is Analytica Today. Today, we're digging into Kenya's high-stakes diplomatic pivot, one that could reshape alliances across the Horn of Africa. Just last month, President William Ruto landed in Beijing for his third trip to China in less than 3 years, returning with $1 billion in new deals. Meanwhile, the US, Kenya's longtime strategic partner, is slashing aid, importing tariffs, and even canceling a major diplomatic visit. So what's changed? Why is Kenya cozying up with China? And what does it mean for its ties with Washington? Let's unpack it. For decades, Kenya has been one of Washington's most trusted allies in East Africa. Its strategic location along Indian Ocean made it a hub for trade, security, and US counterterrorism operations. Since 2003, the US has pumped over $8 billion into Kenya, supporting everything from public health to education to anti-terror training. Last year, Kenya was even designated a major non-NATO ally, a big deal that deepened defense ties and opened the door to US military technology. Kenyan troops deployed to Haiti soon after, at Washington's request. But while America was building partnership, China was building infrastructure. Under the Belt and Road Initiative, Beijing funded massive projects like Mombasa-Nairobi Railway. Under the Belt and Road Initiative, Beijing has funded massive projects like the Mombasa-Nairobi Railway, costing $5.1 billion. Kenya now owes China about $5.4 billion. That debt comes with strings, high interest, repayments eating up Kenya's budget. So Kenya has been balancing both powers, trying to keep everyone happy. But here's the thing, that balance is wobbling. Last month, President Ruto arrived in Beijing for a 5-day state visit, his third since taking office. He was welcomed at the Great Hall of the People with full honors. By the end of the trip, over 20 agreements were signed, covering infrastructure, healthcare, and trade, worth over $1 billion. Ruto called it a win-win. The deals promise jobs and wider access for Kenyans export like tea and avocados. The two nations even upgraded their relationship to China-Kenya community with a shared future, a term Beijing uses to signal deeper long-term alignment. But the timing was accidental. This visit came just as tensions between the US and China hit new highs. President Trump, back in office, slapped a 10% tariff on Kenyan imports starting April 8, 2025, hitting industries like textile hard. Worse, he's cut 72 of 83 US aid programs in Kenya, costing 40,000 jobs and leaving $400 million hole in budget. Worse, he has cut 72 of 83 US aid programs in Kenya, costing 40,000 jobs and leaving a $400 million hole in the budget. Clinics shut down, food aid disappeared, and Trump even accused Kenya of exploiting US generosity. Then came a diplomatic slap. Secretary of State Marco Rubio canceled his trip to Nairobi, reportedly due to concerns about Kenya's growing ties with China and corruption allegations. For many Kenyans, it felt like a betrayal. After years of loyalty, Washington was walking away. But this isn't just about diplomacy, it's about survival. Ruto's pivot to China is a hedge against an unreliable US-China. Under pressure from Trump's tariff, some as high as 145%, is hunting for reliable allies. Kenya, with its strategic ports and growing markets, is a prize. For the US, losing Kenya's trust is a blow. Washington stands to lose a strategic ally if ties sour further. For East Africans, watching from Nairobi, Addis Ababa, or Dar es Salaam, this story is more than geopolitics. It's about whether African nations can shape their own path or if they will be caught in a tug-of-war between Beijing and Washington. But there is a wild card, Kenya's people. Young, tech-savvy, and politically aware. They're pushing for leaders to look inward, not east or west. Even Ruto recently said Kenya looks forward, not to the east or to the west. If true, that may be Kenya's strongest hand, leveraging both powers without becoming dependent on either. So where does this leave Kenya? Ruto's pivot to China is bold. It brings investment, but also geopolitical risk. America's aid cuts and tariffs may sting, but it also could propel Kenya towards greater self-reliance. This isn't just about choosing sides, it's about surviving, adapting, and maybe redefining the game altogether. What do you think? Can Kenya strike its own path between giants, or has it already leaned too far into one direction? What do you think? Can Kenya stay neutral, or is it leaning too far towards China? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button, like, and share this video. Until next time, I'm Jonas Anbiko, and this is Analytica Today.